Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. I'm Richard.
I'm Liz, this is Lap of the World, and today we're talking NSX events.
First, we're going to go over some highlights from our recent NSXpedition.
And after that, we'll give you a preview of our upcoming 2,600 mile drive from Tennessee to Oregon for NSXPO 2021.
Jumping right in though, let's talk about our second sort of annual NSXpedition.
That's the viewer submitted name that we landed on for the drive that we hosted in 2019 that we loosely called something about NSX's Smoky Mountains driving.
Mountain Drive extravaganza. It was long-winded and not very good.
So NSXpedition, I think is much better. But basically, it is a gathering in the foothills of the Smoky Mountains, really focused on driving, dining, and hanging out with other NSX owners and aficionados.
Our day started at a small coffee shop in sleepy Townsend, Tennessee, as we led 5 other NSXs up and over the roughly 50 miles of the combined Foothills Parkway with its scenic vistas. Arriving at the shores of Chilhowie Lake, we picked up 2 more NSXs and an S2000 at the famous overlook towards the quasi-official beginning of the Tail of the Dragon. We then covered that 318 curves in 11 miles without incident or any official entanglement this time. After a short break for lunch, we started up the Cherahalla Skyway with more winding roads and scenic views, but Mother Nature had other ideas. More on that in a minute. That 50-mile stretch took us back to Tapoco Plains, where we had time to meet quickly with our Usk before heading back to Knoxville for a lakeside dinner. So with everybody having been kind of cooped up for the last 18-odd months, as much fun as the driving was on these, some of the best roads in the region, I think the real highlights were probably more in the being able to socialize at the various stops.
Absolutely. So our first big stop was for lunch at the historic Tapoco Lodge next to the Chihuahua River. After that, that's where we picked up 2 more people. Mm-hmm. And then we all headed to Fontana Dam for a great photo op.
Yep. We were surprised that usually that's kind of a hot hangout, but we showed up and it was just us. So for a long time, and I think a few other Honda fans showed up. So
yep. Shout out to our new friend David who took the pictures for us.
Took the group picture, yeah. Awesome. And then, so after lunch and our photo op, we got back on the road and headed up. That's where I said we started up the Cherahalla Skyway. And that stretch took us a little longer than expected because of occasionally torrential rain. And we had some of our attendees with some track tires on their car. So
looking at you, Maria.
Yeah, they had a little more fun than others, I guess, if you want to put it that way. And that eventually landed us at the Cherahalla Skyway Visitor Center in Tapoco Plains, where we a gas station about a mile before that, for kind of a last meeting to discuss when we were doing dinner. We stayed there enough time to get thoroughly doused, socializing outside when the heavens opened before we headed back into West Knoxville for dinner.
Yeah, so for dinner, actually we ended up going straight to dinner from that. I think after a few people had to dry off in the bathroom fans.
Right. I may have gotten some strange looks for that, but shockingly, the hand dryer works on your shirt pretty well.
But we went to Lakeside Tavern for dinner, and we had a pretty good group there. I think we ended up with about 10 people, and hung out in the parking lot for far too long after.
Yeah, as you are wont to do.
Picking up more fans, and one of the waiters, Enzo, who then met up with us again at Cars and Coffee in the morning.
Yep, and we had, I think, 4 or 5 cars stick around for the morning. Some showed up later than others to Cars and Coffee.
I think there were 4 in the beginning, and then 2 more came a little later.
Yeah, so a couple guys sleep in and take advantage maybe. But that was a lot of fun. And Cars and Coffee in the morning, in spite of there being a little bit of weather in the area, it was not disappointing.
Absolutely not. I think we had a pretty good rain at about 7 a.m. And then after that, it was nice.
Yeah, so overall on the weekend, we 90% lucked out on the weather. And the other 10% was on the Cherahalla Skyway for the most part.
But this year, I think it was really interesting. We had a completely different crowd. Not completely, mostly different crowd than we did the year before. And I
think we had, one
repeat.
Yeah, one.
No,
well,
two repeats.
Two, yeah. We had two return customers.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to call it that. And then everybody else though was new to the event, which was kind of exciting to see and cool to see some people that we've met elsewhere in the community come on out as well.
Yeah, and some people that we hadn't met at all.
Mm-hmm.
And several of those people are now talking about being able to make it to Expo because they didn't realize how fun the events were.
Yep. Speaking of Expo, though, that's a good segue, Liz, into now talking about our forthcoming trip to Oregon from Tennessee, which will be probably including the event. We're guessing if it's similar to 2018, somewhere around a 5,000 to 6,000 mile total trip by the time we get home. And we are currently in the midst of packing and experimenting with some other stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. We're having fun with it this year. I'm strangely excited about the prospect of packing and seeing how much we can get. I mean, those of you who were around in 2018 when we drove to San Francisco, you saw just how much we got in the car that year.
Yeah, we were packed to the gills. We're trying to do a little better this year as far as just organization, so we can bring, a few more quality of life stuff, maybe another camera gadget or two. But to do so,
maybe I can move my feet.
Yeah, to do so, we're having to kind of compress, soft article packing and also get creative with food. Which that's probably the next video that you'll see, though, is getting more in depth in our preparation, and then you can start looking forward to this coming Friday or Saturday. Our I'm going to call them semi-daily vlogs, and not overcommitting us here, but.
Yeah, again, for those around in 2018, we did do daily vlogs, which because this year we have decided to extend our trip out a little bit more and give ourselves more time so that we're not having to do such long days. Yeah,
because last 2018, it was like drive for 12 hours, burn into a hotel with your hair on fire, talk to a weird construction guy in the parking lot, and then try and go in and edit video quickly.
Or while I'm driving, you're editing in the passenger seat.
Yeah,
we did that several times too.
That was going across the highway adjacent to the Salt Flats, coming back through Nevada, I think, that year. But
yeah,
that's a little taste of what's to come. So if you are curious to see a quasi well-adjusted couple attempt a 6,000 mile road trip in an NSX with
not trailered.
No chase car or trailer, and see how we get on with that. Then click the subscribe button and pay attention over the next week or three. But
I'm excited. I hope you are too.
Yeah, yeah. No, Expo's always exciting.
Expo's always exciting, but I mean, frankly, the 2000 us being able to go out to San Francisco and do this huge road trip was a ton of fun. And I think that's probably more for me, that it's the journey as well as Expo.
Yeah, and then this year we're taking a completely different route to get out west that we did last time, including a particularly interesting stop, which I'm not going to lead on too much. But somewhere amidst the cornfields, we found something interesting to look at, we think. That will be
the giant ball of yarn.
Yes, exactly.
Giant
world's largest popcorn ball. Maybe the nearest ridiculous attraction of what I'm actually talking about. But anyway, that's enough. That's enough hinting. I think we're going to call it there for today. We hopefully you've enjoyed the highlights of NSXpedition and our little preview of our NSXPO road trip. But until next time, I'm Richard.
I'm Liz.
This is Lap of the World, and we'll see you all in the next video, if not at the track.
let me do it.
That's okay. Rather than rolling right into it, though, you can pause there. Because then, if then I can smush it in post.
Do you know how little you pause? You need more inflection. Follow that up with a preview of our upcoming 2,600 mile drive from Tennessee to Oregon for NSXpO 2021.
I don't know.
You said this.
Maybe just say dinner then.
Okay. That gives us a total of 144 miles of scenic driving.
You can't do this and sound exaggerated.
Yes, I can. Watch me.